With, money on everybody's mind today, the House has a very big vote taking place next hour, we expect, on government funding. Republicans don't have much margin at all for error, so we'll also be covering that live. White House correspondent Kelly Meyer, though, starts us off from the North Lawn. The market really turning it around with this news from Canada, Kelly.
Yeah, and right now, as you mentioned, President Trump is on the South Lawn with those Teslas, checking them out, though it's unclear the last time he actually drove a car himself. So he may be asked some questions by reporters out there about this latest breaking news from the Premier of Ontario, basically saying that he's not going to keep that in place. He suspended that 25% surcharge on exports of electricity to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota. So we heard there in a statement that the Secretary of Commerce at Howard Lutnick and the Premier of Ontario had a productive conversation. This comes after that Truth Social post you saw there this morning that Trump essentially doubled his decision to double those tariffs on some Canadian goods. So after that post on Truth Social that you see there, now we're seeing this meeting with the Commerce Secretary and essentially the Premier of Ontario really backing off of those extra, the surcharge on electricity to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota. So an interesting thing there. It also comes after the White House press briefing where Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, when we were there, she was really standing by and defending President's decision to double those tariffs on Canada, as well as really calling what the Premier of Ontario was saying was making a, quote, egregious and insulting comment threatening to shut down our electricity for the American people. She also kind of downplayed the effect on the stock markets over the last several days and even hours, partially because of these tariffs. And I wanted to play a bit of what she had to say if we have it.
When it comes to the stock market, the numbers that we see today, the numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow are a snapshot of a moment in time. And as President Trump has said, and I'm here to echo the remarks of this president of this White House, we are in a period of economic transition.
Yeah, so Caroline Leavitt saying there that Canada has always been an ally, but perhaps they are becoming a competitor now. Now we'll see if that conversation or that sentiment changes after what we just heard back from the Premier of Ontario and that discussion with the Commerce Secretary and agreeing to meet on Thursday as well here in Washington. Connell.
Yeah, and from a practical perspective, Kelly, I think it'll be interesting if the president takes questions at the White House Tesla dealership there on the South Lawn, or even at this speech later on that he's making to the Business Roundtable about if he addresses what he talked about on social media today, whether those measures tomorrow morning are still in effect. Is that off, right? So, and that speech, I think, is at 5 p.m. Eastern or thereabouts.
Yeah, and this is going to be a moment where he's going to be face-to-face with some of the top American CEOs in the country. There will be Apple, JP Chase, Walmart, and these are folks that may be having some concerns about how this is impacting them. This is as, even their companies, their market value has dipped in recent days. So business leaders seem to be growing worried. And really what they're going to be asking for from the president here, likely at this meeting, is some clarity on where this goes from here, Connell.
And I think we'll hear from him as well, to your point. We'll play that back as soon as we get it with the Tesla situation, especially if he talks about tariffs. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly Meyer on the developing news there at the White House. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.